Hello everyone, it's me, Reaper Steve. Welcome back. Tonight we are going to be, again, why is this not updated for me? Let me just go ahead and change this up so you can see exactly who we're watching tonight. We're watching Team Dura, and Team Dura will be taking on get my names the right way around here, UGN. So we're going to be watching, hopefully the boys take home a win like we saw last night. That would be the plan. If everything goes to plan, that is. So very much looking forward to tonight. We have a good matchup again, I feel, just purely based on looking at stats. At the start of the season, UGN didn't really have the best of runs. They lost 3 games on the bounce, 1 to Alternative Gaming, Rasta Gaming, who we watched before, and also Rune Lords as well. And they were quite heavy defeats in 1 or 2 of the games. They have come off the back of 2 winning games back to back, I should say. That being against Team Rakatech and also joined the club 13-16 against Team Rakatech and joined the club 16-5. So they have got good maneuvers in place. They've got good score lines that they've seen against other teams. Team Dura, again, of course, watching those tonight. We've had 4 losses on the bounce, so we're very much hoping for a win to come out with these guys. We are looking at last game overdogs on Train 16-6 loss. We watched the MLKS match together. We commentated and cast on that last week also. That was the 8-6 loss. So anything to play for realistically. Hopefully they can pull something out of the bag. I'm very much looking forward to watching the game, and I hope you guys are as well. I think we are all players in server. We're just waiting for players to ready up. Apologies for the double up on sound there. But yeah, very much looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a good one. I hope it's going to be a good one, at least anyway. I know a lot of the guys were talking yesterday about doing bits and bobs, but we're going to jump straight into gameplay, and let's have a look at this knife round. I'll mute the music so that then we don't have it distracting us there in the background. Knife round, again, is one of those things, don't really often like to show it, but I do enjoy showing it if I can. Everyone's kind of just waiting at the moment. The 5-man stack on mid, with 1 minute and 40 left on the clock. And I think it's just both sides kind of waiting to see who makes the first move. And right now they're kind of playing check-in with each other. Doing some sprays and that. Oh, fair play. Okay, that was well-timed. And that's an EsportsWales team to win in the knife round. That was nicely done. In the way that they basically just all waited until it was 1 minute 30 left on the clock and then went in for it. So, can't say fairer than that, in fairness. I would imagine, given that we're watching Inferno, realistically, I'd want to see a swap. Go CT. And we do actually see them go CT as well. Get those early rounds on the board, get as many of them as you possibly can, and hopefully put a good defense in play. It'll be interesting to see what happens from a UGN perspective on this map. I know from overlooking the stats, they have only won once on this map, and that was a 13-16 win. So they were very close to losing that game. The other game they played prior to that, which was a week before, they lost on this map 16-1 to Rasta Gaming. So hopefully we can see a win come out of this one. EsportsWales, Team Tan, still yet to get a win on the board, but also yet to get a win on DE Inferno. So let's have a look here. You can see Bomb is standing by, ready to push into sight, and I mean they've made a lot of noise now, so I'd imagine these rotations are going to start coming through. That flashbang will pop into sight, and that will help the team swing and push from a UGN perspective to get into zone ready to get bomb plant in place. At the minute, it's a massacre as far as Team Dura are concerned, as they lose heavy losses in trying to hold that site off from the 4-man push that was remaining. LW69, the only player to go down so far for UGN, and it's left to Peath and Zero to do something here with this. It's a good smoke grenade from UGN to block off the sight lines for Peath. It does also force the hand of Zero to come around the outside, essentially. Peath will drop to Marland. It's now Zero in a 1v4. He'll get the first pick. Will he be able to get a second out of it? He won't, unfortunately. He does actually fall, and we go 1-0 in favour of UGN. Not the best of opening rounds. There was a lot of to and fro in from Team Dura on on that A site hold. There's a little bit of, I don't know, it just felt like the communication wasn't there. There was a lot of noise being made by UGN as they made their efforts getting ready to push into site, and it just didn't feel like the call was there for rotations to start coming through from our B site players. As far as kills are concerned, first one on the board there coming out in favour of Marlon. He'll take a long shot up mid, take Strato down. He'll actually get a second frag out of that, and Cody's next to fall. Peeth and Zero also dead, and it does leave last woman standing as Bio. One v5, go for a frag. Not necessarily going to win the round, but go for a kill at least anyway. I like this little position from Bio. Yes, it's a 1v5, not likely to pull anything out of it, but holding a position like this in Garden, I say Garden, it's kind of off Garden with a view to getting back into construction. It actually gives her a lot of options to push out into site and try and get a pick. We should see that pick come through or get the first one out of it. There are T players pushing around to stop any kind of chance of defuse happening. There was no kit in play there anyway, so we definitely won't see a defuse. But again, I like that positioning from Bio at least anyway. That is it's an offensive position. You're ready to take a frag on a player that's leaving site. Managed to pick up the one. Would have been nice to see more. But obviously only the one. That's a map pause out as well. Again, ESEA, I say this every single stream, and you lot are going to tell me in chat that you hate the fact that I continuously repeat it. We don't see who calls the pause in ESEA. So I would expect it's probably coming from Team Dura, to be honest with you. It's a very, very early pause. Massively early pause, but you do see some teams opting to do that. The grenades will fly in, and unfortunately it's not really paying off that well. No players hit from a UGN perspective, and it's left to Bio and Cody here. It is a pistol round, so there's not a lot of potential in it. Ooh, Bio swings out. Does land a few headshots, but it's not enough to get a kill. And Vipjara will finish off that round for us. 3 rounds to nothing at the moment, still in favour of UGN. This should, in theory, be the first full buy round that we see from Team Dur. They are very, I say very reluctant. They're very slow at buying into the round. But with the way that match loss bonus works at the moment for CT side of things, it makes sense for them to buy up into third round like this. Yes, they've got a lot of, they spent a lot, but they do have good returns coming in for the first time of loss bonus. The only thing I would say, and I say this every time again, it's not advisable to be stuck in that rut of having to go for loss bonus. Jovi leading the charge, getting himself into B site. That Molotov will actually do a ton of damage, however, and kill Jovi off. I can't help but think that Zyrex is maybe a little bit mistaken there, pulling out the knife, especially in that position. Garden is normally a very dangerous place. Jara comes out round corner. Strato and Bio do a ton of damage and manage to come off the better in that fight, strangely enough. Peeth standing by now, waiting essentially for the first chance to take a pop at someone. There isn't anyone in that position. That Molotov will give that information away. Strato will get one, won't get the second, however, and it's left to Peeth with low HP. Not a lot of options to go for. Forward nothing. Not really a lot to comment on at the minute. Jovi's already pushed up deep with Marlon and making quick, easy access kills. Get themselves into a position inside A. Back alley favoured by quite a lot of players to get themselves into position at stairs to go through apps. Obviously that flashbang very nicely placed to cover off as far as balcony is concerned in pit. Bomb will get planted however, and at the moment it's all or nothing from a CT perspective as they try and get at least 1 or 2 picks out of this if they can. They're about to find that first line of contact, and Marland is just carrying UGN at the moment. 9 kills, no deaths. Definitely the standout player so far into this game for UGN. Something big needs to happen from a Team Dur perspective. You could almost argue that it may be beneficial for them to do maybe 2 eco rounds on the bounce, have enough cash available then to buy 2 or 3 rounds on the bounce from that. Molotov will go into window from Marlon. We're going to stick with Marlon for a minute, being the high damage player that he is so far. He's looking, hunting for kills with Jovi, which seems to be working out quite nicely for them. Cody will swing up but not be successful in getting anything from that. Bio is starting to push herself forward. With Zyrex to back up as well. Lands the first kill, gets the second as well. Isn't able to succeed in getting the third, but that does make life a little bit easier for Stator as well as Peath. A 2v2. Bomb will get recovered. Sorry, 2v3. Apologies. Jovi does have at least 1 HP left to work with. Double up setup on holding this site can sometimes work out nicely, but doesn't work out for Stator in the end. Peace will open up on the first, takes out that high damage player that we've mentioned already, Marland. Can't help but think that it's worth him going for this. Obviously, we've got the benefit of knowing how much HP we've got left available across the board for our 2T players. And knowing positionings, but realistically from Peace's perspective, he's going to know a lot of damage has been done to Jovi because of the fight that Jovi was in earlier. If he could pick Jovi out, then I imagine we see him potentially trying to go for this. Jovi isn't going to give him the option, however, and vacates as quick as humanly possible back through apps and down into CT apps itself, and way out of the fight entirely. Peace will hold his position well in library and keep that open into the next round. I'm trying to think of what needs to change. What needs to change from a Team Duro perspective? You know, to maybe help them out a little bit with this round, these rounds. The Molotov will land well. It doesn't take any damage into players. Cody will actually pick up 1, but Cody and Stato will actually get taken down in the end. And this pistol round is coming to a finish relatively quickly as site control starts to be lost as well towards a site. Bomb is still kind of looking like it's going to go up second mid. Yep, there you go. Starts to go up second mid. Getting ready to push out onto site. Jovi is hunting for an additional player. He knows there's definitely someone at least in and around this site that's going to be holding and defending. Bio will actually drop elsewhere on the map. Same again, unfortunately for those 2 players, pushing and falling as they try to take some control back from Banana, and it's all down to Peath in a 1v4. Has the open a very good position to play with. So realistically, as long as he holds an angle, like the angles he's holding at the minute, he may come out the better in the first fight, but he's going to have to get out of dodge very, very quickly. This kill could be coming up very soon. Yep, indeed it does. This is the big issue now, is that he's taking that frag. He's put himself in an awkward position, split between 2 rotating players that are going to potentially bump into him. One of them being LW69, who's looking down towards CT spawn. Peath, however, can stay in position here. He survives the bomb explosion, of course. And the rotating UGN players that went on the hunt will not be successful in picking up that additional frag. 7-0 in favour of UGN. I started to mention, and I kind of got my train of thought lost because of all the kills coming in from UGN's perspective. We're trying to think of what needs to change from a Team Dura perspective, and the only thing I could think of really that needs to happen is, you know, the decisions that are being made to hold site and hold the control that they've got on the site, or you push those rotations in. They need to come a little bit quicker. Those audio cues are perfect examples of what I'm referring to. We've heard numerous times UGN take control of apps and push out from apps, and there's no rotation called for it. I get bomb hasn't been spotted, but realistically, if you've got a T side that's committing to apps, they've already cleared either CT apps or down towards patio, then realistically they're going to be committing to A site. That's when your B players start their rotation, get themselves into position. Bio will start things off, however, and she takes down LW69 out of that fight immediately. We'll stick with Bio for a minute, and she looks to hold an off angle. She's going to rotate, in fact, out of the fight, understandably with the HP loss, as well as Stato being in position with the AWP to back up. I believe Peace, who's managed to keep the AWP for 3 rounds in a row now. This is actually, well, it's winnable. I mean, it very much is winnable. Marlon is a high fragging player and a high damage player, but realistically in a 1v5 with 8 HP left, even with head armor, he's not likely to go for it. He's going to make as little noise as possible to get himself down away from the fights. But he's going to fall into the potential opening arms of at least one CT player, and he will get taken down in the end. And that is Zyrex, of course, for Team Dura. First round on the board from Team Dura's perspective into round 9. Still 7-1, massively in favour of UGN at the minute, but perhaps a start of things to come from a Team Dura perspective. Stick with Stato for a moment as he tries to hold that off angle towards second mid to prevent any players from pushing through too quickly. He'll back off in the end and take up a position towards arches. At the moment, as far as bomb control is concerned, it's looking like it's going to start heading its way up towards banana. And at the moment, there's no rotation being called, no bombers being spotted, there's not a lot of noise or footprints. Zyrex being super aggressive there, in fact, pushing down all the way down banana. It's a double-edged sword, really, holding this position at logs. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's super aggressive, and it does catch T players out. But realistically, you've got to be super quick on the trigger, especially when you've got smokes surrounding you as well, like that. But looking to get the opening damage here. It is going to start making its way up towards banana. Zyrex, unfortunately, not able to see the initial movements that have been put in place, purely because of the flashbang. He'll have to double back now as rotations start to happen, and we can see Stato coming around with that AWP, getting ready to perhaps help out with best he can. He'll get the opening pick, but Vapjara will finish him off entirely. Zyrex is a man alone at the moment, and he's already dropped, in fact, on site, as UGN take control of B site once again. Cody, last man standing, 1v4. Economy difference is huge in this round as well. Can't help but think that maybe would have been more beneficial in keeping the AK rather than pushing the AK onto site. But it's not my call, of course. If the player feels he can do it, the player can do it. It's going to be another buy round coming in from Team Dura. Again, they're getting sucked into the loss bonus issue that we've talked about numerous times before. But realistically, they don't have a lot of options. They are into round 10. They're losing by quite a massive amount of rounds. So they need everything that they can really get from this. And buying up into each round is one way of doing that. It's not a surefire way of getting the victory that they'll need, or getting rounds that they'll need on the board. But, you know, it has an impact over time. Zyrax, again, super aggressive with the push. And I mean massively aggressive with the push. Jovi and LW69 start splitting the site up. Vipjira is there as well, and will actually pick up Stato in the end. Pete has tried this trick so many different times now. Vipjira is ready and standing by to take him out. Pete will actually pick up one though before it happens. This is again very good site control coming from UGN as they take the entirety of B site all for themselves. Imagine we see Zyrax pick up that open, get the heck out of dodge. No utility to be able to peek, no flashes to be able to help. And you don't really want to be peeking dry, especially when you've got two AWPs in play, on UGN's perspective at least. Yeah, good choice, Zyrax. Keep that AWP, bring it into the next round. Not a lot of cash really to maneuver around with. I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially see a pause at the end of this round as well. Little attack timeout. Give the players a chance to kind of breathe and figure out what's happening and why they're not being able to kind of hold off the onslaught coming in from UGN. It doesn't look as though we're going to get the pause. Oh, we do. See, I can call it sometimes. This is one of those moments where I would love for someone to just clip that entire moment where I said they're going to call a pause, and then it happened. But we just scrub out the bit where I doubted that they were going to continue to do the pause. While we're waiting, we'll have a quick look, however, at the scoreboard and see where things lay as far as score lines are concerned. Not a lot of kills to really talk of note from an EsportsWales perspective. Massive ADRs coming in from Team UGN. Most unfortunate. Nonetheless, however, we are out of match pause and we'll swing into round 11. Peace. Being handed the AWP there as well to bring that back into play. That's nice to know from chat. Thank you very much for warning me that Team Tan never know when they're going to pause. At least I know that from now on, so I don't end up trying to call it and never getting it. Jovi will get the opening pick. Again, this position is favoured so much by UGN, taking all of that right side control. Okay, Jovi, just intelligent play. Get rid of the AK, stop that from being recovered. Let's rotate, get away from this side. Let's push ourselves up towards B. There's potentially only going to be one holding that position. Did he land that then? I don't think Zyrax did, but it felt like he landed it. I knew he got a shot landed on him, but I don't think he landed a shot on any of the UGN players. He's in an awkward position here. Yeah, the rotation player Pete will get taken down. Cody's still standing by to try and help in some way, but what can you do really in this sort of position other than make noise and allow Zyrax a bit of a chance to get the AWP and get the heck out of dodge once again. Cody's lucky here. Could get one. Nope, won't get any. Definitely won't get any. This again is Pete's AWP, and I think it survived like 5 or 6 rounds now, isn't it? No, Pete did fall in one of the rounds. It was recovered though, actually, wasn't it, by Zyrax? Which is even weirder because Zyrax is actually the one to recover again. Oh, nice kill there onto Vipjara. That takes an AWP out of play as far as UGN are concerned, but realistically, the cash economy from their perspective is not going to be a concern. (10-11) into round 12. I'm getting told my internet maybe took a dip. Nope. No, everything's working fine on my end. Lads, if you have an issue with the stream and you can still hear me, hit the F5 and you should be able to see the game pop up again for you. Managed to get there just in time to watch Cody burn up from Marlon's Molotov Stato holding that aggressive position, but he's now 2 players to contend with, and both of them are high damage players as we've seen so far. Are looking to clear off angles immediately. We'll switch out player. One will peek. Oh, Stato. Get out of my apps. Thank you very, very much. I'll take that AK as a bonus prize. That is wowzers. Very nicely played from him indeed. Cyrex will spring and peek. He's not got a lot of options to run away from. You'll get one out of that fight, and LW69 is the player that drops in the end. VapeJero will pick up Stato in the end as well. This is a 1v2, and Bio is left alone with a lot of footsteps running all the way around her. If she times this right, she could potentially get him off plant while he's trying to get post plant. No, it's just a little bit too much of a delay. She has good utility though, so she could potentially go for a retake on this. She's got diffuse kit as well. Also, she's got plenty of time to work with. That smoke grenade is going to come in handy to block off sight lines towards Coffin. I believe actually it's not planted at Coffin, it's planted at Grill, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is planted at Grill. That smoke will come in handy to block that sight line off. No, a little bit more to the right. Just go for the frag. This is frustrating from a Team Duo perspective. VapeJero will pick up the frag and also make it away with the open hand. 11-1. Still in favour of UGN. We all love a friendly team knife, especially at the round start. It's exactly what we want to see. We'll switch up and go with Marlon and Jovi as they take their normal route, which seems and feels to be a favoured route for them to try and take control here for maps. Marlon and Jovi very much enjoying their evening. Cody and Pete, however, are starting things off quite nicely. LW69 with one of the weirdest spray patterns I've ever seen in my entire life from an AK. Trying to get damage on mid-control players, but not really succeeding there. I'd imagine Bio and Cody looked around behind them and just saw the outline of themselves in the wall and thought, well, we're lucky. Let's not do that again though, and show him, give him the chance to try it. UGN still have bomb control, and they feel dangerous every time they push forward with bomb control in hand as well. It's App's position, again, massively favoured by them. But we do have Bio potentially on a... She could catch him out, yeah. She's just got to be very, very patient with it. She's also got to have Cody audio cueing it. And Cody's not audio cued it well at all. Bomb plant going in. This just now means that Bio can walk her way all the way around. Potentially get on balcony and pick up a kill here. Oh, VapeJero is standing by for it. LW69 will be the first one to drop out of UGN as this retake starts to come through. VapeJero will manage to use that smoke to his advantage and get behind the CT players. As the CTs start opening up on each other, he'll pick up 1 and 2, but Cody's there and finishes that round off for us very, very nicely. That could have gone incredibly bad from a Team Duo perspective. Very, very, very lucky indeed to pull the round out there. Everyone a little bit shaky, I think, is probably the best way of putting it. A little bit, a little bit nervous, I think, on A site there a moment ago. 14 rounds completed so far, 12-11 in favour of UGN. Big T rounds are needed. And I mean, like, constantly big T rounds. That's the issue with going... this way. Oh, VapeJero. With a no-scope as well. Yeah, again, I don't normally look at Twitch chat when I'm casting, but I cannot help but agree with you, Wally. I really can't help but agree with you. so awkward now from a Team Duo perspective as well. When you think about the second half of this, you know, if they don't win this round and they don't win the next round, they literally cannot lose a single round. They have to win these 2 rounds. And they're not going to, because Cerex is the last player left alive, and he's already dicing with death as it is. He takes down Avanu. But we'll look to recover the AK and keep that for the next fight. I think we're past the point of must-win rounds to now being they have to, like, they have no choice but to win every round. Like, must-win rounds are must-win rounds. Have-to rounds are, oh no. Oh no. What can he say? (12-2). This could be an early finish from Team Duo's perspective, unless they can change things up. This aggression. I do like the aggression on a banana hold. I will say that. Pushing to logs is viable, okay? But when you are 12-2, I can't help but think that you need to be a CT and let them come to you. Like, put the defenses in place for them to come to you, rather than you having to go all the way out of position to try and get frags. Jovi and Marlon there splitting the difference and getting one out of it. Jovi will actually pick up 2 frags and takes down Bio before getting taken out himself. This is a 3v2 situation. Technically a 3v2... Sorry, a 2v2 now. Potentially a 2v1 if you consider HP ratios. But 2 picks needed to win the end of round. Oof, that headshot from Marlon. Goodness me. As they start to push themselves into the side, I want to check that ADR again. I mean, that's 138 ADR. That's a lot of damage being dealt by him. See the bomb getting planted into position. It's all on Cody to make something of this final round. And unfortunately he will not, as Marlon is able to pick up that additional frag. And that takes us into the second half. Potentially a very, very quick second half if things don't go in the direction that Team Duo want them to. We're going to go back to my face for a few minutes while we wait for the teams to be ready. I have been caught out by Team Duo before, so I will be staying around and looking at the screen to see if they are ready or not. A disappointing first half, I think, is probably the best way of putting it. And I think we'll all kind of agree with that. I'll put some music on in the background while we wait. Yeah, disappointing first half. And I don't know about you, chat, but I feel like there's a lot of room to improve. But it's whether that room to improve can come out in this match or not. There are still plenty of games left to be played this season from Team Duo's side of things. They've got what? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games left to play in the Open. Their next game is going to be... I think they've got a game tomorrow, actually. They do have a game tomorrow. Tomorrow, however, we're covering Team Yar. So we will be doing that one tomorrow night at 7:30. Yeah. We're going to take a very small break while we wait for the players to ready up, and then we'll be back. See you in a moment. I love it. Literally every single time I say I'll be back in a moment with the rest of the game, what happens? The rest of the game. Anyway, we're back to it. Let's get this on. Mustering rounds from a fairly stagnant Team Duo at the moment. They don't seem to be making a lot of headway into these rounds, but hopefully things will change in the second half of this map. Otherwise, we could be in for an early finish. That's big kills coming in. Viptura and LW69 doing a lot of damage there. But Cody comes out big in the end. And he will take down 2 of his own. Havanu there now looking with Marlon to try and pick up that last frag, and that's Cody, who is the last player alive from Team Duo's perspective. He'll take out one more. We've seen Cody be super deadly with the USP before. Oh, what a round. What an absolute massive round. Humongous round from Team Duo's perspective. Cody there just basically pulling Team Duo through in the end. Well played. 13-3. Is it sustainable? Can you sustain that kind of mentality in the way that that round was played, the aggression of that round, for 10 rounds in a row to take it to you know, take it to even? Good nade there from Cody. We'll stick with Cody because it does appear he's going to be the first one to get into the line of sight of players. He is indeed. Jovi will actually take him down, and that's a clear recovered for the CTs. They're looking to put that into work if they can. Future will pick up one, not before falling. And at the minute, it's still looking okay. Never mind, I was going to say it's still looking okay-ish for Team Dura, but unfortunately it's not anymore now as they go down to 2 men up against the 4-man team of UGN. Havanu is going to be the player to watch here as they try to hold off sight as long as possible for the rotation players to come through. We'll pick up the first kill. Peter's the one to die. And that team flash helping Havanu there a little bit, but it's not enough for Stato to make that much of an impact play on as we go 14-3. So that, I didn't want you to hear me slurping on a drink. 14-3. Marlon is just like, wow. Okay, I was gonna say Marlon is just taking names here, but Cyrex is does pick up one. LW69 somehow manages to miss that frag out there. Big flashbang to cause the distraction. 15-3. Apologies, my brain just died on me then when I was in the middle of talking, so apologies for that. See, Wally, ever the optimist. I like that. I think from a Team Duo perspective as well, and like chat will yeah, I hope you guys will agree with me. There is going to come a point where, yes, you're playing with subs, and yes, you're having the kind of like, you're having the handicap of having to play with subs. But realistically, there's going to come a point where everything kind of clicks into place and players start relying on the strengths and weaknesses of their fellow teammates. It happens. Like, I've watched so many different teams where it's happened in those teams. You know, I've watched games like the games that you're on about there, Wally, from Endpoint, you know, where it happens, and all of a sudden it's just like, okay, I know how this player plays, I know what they're weak on, I know what they're very strong on rotation-wise. You pick it up as you go along in that respect. It's going to happen at some point. It can't not. Oh, unlucky. And that is the end of this game. Most unlucky there from Team Duo's perspective. Not really much to talk about, if I'm honest with you, because there wasn't really a lot of... There was a lot of good things, and there was a lot more bad things in that game in comparison to the other ones that we've seen before from Team Duo. I hope you guys have enjoyed in some way, at least, anyway. I think, you know, a lot to learn from Team Duo's perspective. Hopefully, we'll see them next week bounce back from tonight's loss. Tomorrow night, however, I am back once again. Tomorrow will be the 3rd game of the week. I have promised you 3 games a week if I can do them, and we can. So tomorrow night we have Team Ya. They'll be taking on QWERTY. That match is scheduled for 7:30. Stay tuned on the EsportsWales Twitter page in case there's any updates on the time of that map, or that match I should say, but it'll be myself that'll be commentating for you once again. My name is Reaper Steve. You can find me on Twitter at ReaperSteve1, where you can keep up to date on all the stuff that I do in the background. You can watch me tweet about the dog and then tweet about CS in some way afterwards immediately, if you're that way inclined. Otherwise though, thank you very much for watching this evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 for the final stream of the week. Peace and good night.